It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, fight fans? What's up, combat sports community? The Manimal Zone has jumped into the Octagon, so it's the Manimal Zone.
No. In the Manimal Zone, you're all Manimal and whatever your name is. So you're Manimal Ike today.
And in the Octagon, you gotta have
We're just in the Octagon.
ADD.
Don't worry, the Octagon could be inside the Manimal Zone.
We're blending it together. First and foremost, thank you for making up Mount Machu Picchu. I appreciate
Mount
it.
Ike.
Mount Ike.
We call that Mount Ike. Ike has 72 stairs. That's what I counted. Plus the runways, platforms. On the way up, I had to help some hikers descend because they were struggling out there. Someone got caught in the snow. I just seen a dead body. Just someone didn't make it.
I had 2 cases of water delivered. One was halfway, like the Poland Spring, the 24, and one was a little further, and just had Tommy Beethoven, who got the big win. And I go, Tommy, you want some water? Like halfway, he goes, no, I'm good. I'm okay. And then all of a sudden, by the time we got to the second one, I was like, you want some water? He goes, maybe. I was like, I need to have like cups of water, like coolers. But
you ever do like a race where they have like weigh stations and someone's handing you water there?
Coca-Colas or something.
Why would they hand you Coca-Cola? That's terrible.
Don't they give that on the final stretch of, I thought it was soda, like a Sprite or a Coke on like marathons or.
I mean, maybe when Coke had cocaine in it. Oh, I looked this up the other day. So Coca-Cola, used to have cocaine.
Yes.
So we used to have a good amount, like 3 grams of Coke.
Okay.
So if you...
Is that a bump worth?
No, it's like a fucking 8-ball.
Oh.
It's a great amount. So I was thinking of it. I was like, think about how good the economy was in the 1890s that they would give you for 5 cents. So a Coca-Cola was price stable from 1890 to like 1958. And it was 5 cents. That was it. So for 5 cents, You got literally an 8-bowl of Coke, which is a street value now. I don't even know.
40-ish? I don't know.
No, when I was a kid, an 8-bowl was like $1.50.
Oh, wow.
$150, right?
Oh, wow. So
it's got to be more now. I'm talking about I haven't done Coke in 25, 30 years because it's my least favorite drug. So So that means they were giving you like $200 worth of Coke for 5 cents.
Yes.
Every time you drank a Coke.
That inflation's like 250,000% or something.
Yeah, and think about how long they kept the price stable. It's really after. Wait, is this an MMA podcast or am I going to talk about the economy?
I was just gonna throw it. I was gonna say this is the wonderful onion layers you get to John. There's so much to peel apart from. But what can people expect when they tune into the Manimal Zone?
Well, I do like MMA. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm a professional fighter. I never retired, so I see Tony Ferguson's looking for a fight. Maybe we could do something, or whoever. Who else is older that hasn't fought in a minute? Nah, Cerrone's too big of a name. He can get someone who's going to pay him too. I need someone. You need someone.
Clay Guida?
Clay Guida would be good for me.
Diego Sanchez?
Maybe, yeah, those would be good. Especially
be
if it was in like a different thing, like a bare knuckle or something.
Yeah.
This way it's like neither one's, it's a different sport, so it's like neutral, right? So that could be interesting. But yeah, no, Donald Cerrone, you see he has to get off steroids first.
Oh, is this part of the Jackson Wink thing? Like,
no, he said it.
He did?
No, he said this. Because remember, he when he retired, he got sponsored by that Transcend HRT company.
No idea.
Okay,
I knew he was sponsored by P3, the Lunchables for adults.
Well, then those shits are terrible for you. So I'll fill you in then. So Donald Cerrone, once he retired, he went to this like Transcend HRT clinic, and they put him on, TRT and peptides and all this shit. And he's up to like 220 fucking yoked.
Currently,
right now. So he's on all kinds of shit. He can't pass a drug test, He there's no way. So he's like, I'm juiced up. He's like, and he's been promoting it. So he's like, I've never felt so good. Now I know why it's illegal for fighters to use it.
Jeez, right? He's like the anti-PSA, or he's a PSA 4.
PSA 4. Yeah, he's the public service announcement for TRT.
Joe Rogan hints at it too. He's like, if it can help you, why not? If we could get the best version of oneself, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I always think about TRT Manimal, but Odin said chill for now. Besides, it's tough. The medical system isn't great. I'm more of the Manimal, so I do a lot more homeopathy than allopathy. Even like to get my blood work done and shit is a pain in the ass for me. It's just not a process I like.
Okay, I'm the same. I sprained my ankle 5 months ago.
So now if you go on TRT, now you're going to have to get your blood work done first, then get it done every month for a little bit, then you're going to have to get it done every 3 months, and you're going to have to donate a pint of blood. Then you become extremely involved in the medical system, right? So but there's great results from it. I see all the dudes that do it yoked, right? But
you are high energy already.
And I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect yet. So I always say that's like, if everything is perfect, then you can go on the fringes. But if you're eating like shit and you're not working out, then why are you taking steroids? Right. So even like sometimes
it's like the Ozempic or something like.
Ozempic's the stupidest shit ever.
Falling back on.
Ozempic's the stupidest shit ever. So whoever wants to take anything, you can. So like if someone wanted to smoke crack, go ahead, you can smoke crack. I just don't think you should. And Ozempic falls into that kind of category for me because it's like, all right, it's good, and I'm going to give this caveat, it's good for what it was originally made for, which is if you're 600 pounds, you have to take this medical intervention because if you don't, you could die. So that's what it was made for, right? It's made for the person who's like on my 600-pound life, and it's like, I haven't left my bed in 3 weeks, and that person needs Ozempic.
Right.
But it's so...
Like I heard Gatorade is for, you're in the middle of Afghanistan, it's 120 degrees, and you're dripping sweat, and Gatorade just saves you. It's not for like a kid's lunchbox.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just going to drink 800 grams of sugar. It's like, no, like, is it always bad? Well, let me tell you, if you're in the desert in Afghanistan, you need that fucking Gatorade. That might be the best thing, even though it's like corn syrup and all this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It just, your body might be like, yes, I can use this right now. I'm going to use it instantly. And then if you give the kid it gives them a fatty liver disease.
Yes.
It gives them type 2 diabetes.
Now I'm learning about food coloring.
Oh, God. Yeah, we could talk. I mean, I've been doing my best to keep clean. It's not so easy. We do live in the modern world, which is sad. Then it's hard too. And I love gardening too. Sugar's the number one drug. Sugar, and then the worst than sugar is all the corn syrup stuff. There was something I was going to before this.
We went from Ozempic.
Oh, Ozempic. Ozempic's super irresponsible. So let's think about this. If they prescribe it for someone that can fix it by just eating better and training, it's a little irresponsible to give them a drug that has side effects, right? That's relatively untested. So I have a rule. The only reason I think about TRT is because testosterone's been synthesized for about 100 years. You could see guys that have been on the juice for 50 years, and that's the juice. That's not TRT. So the only reason I would entertain it is because it is so studied, so long used. But I'd rather do it without if I can. I mean, I feel pretty good, so I'm not going to complain. And Ozempic is like, dude, if a guy's 20 pounds overweight, it's like, so you could potentially fuck yourself up to take this, and then they tell you have to take it all the time. And do you see what they bill the insurance for it?
No.
$1,600 a month.
Oof.
So think about what you could do for $1,600 a month. So if your insurance would pay $1,600 a month for you to get Ozempic to lose 20 pounds, and you have to do it your whole life, why wouldn't
$1,600 could pay for a year gym membership?
But let's say you have that monthly. If you have $1,600 a month, you could do 2 privates a week, get a gym membership at a nice gym. So like, let's say Serra's is $220 a month. You could do $220 a month, $225 a month. You could do 3 privates a
Massages.
week. You could do 3 privates a week if you split them, right? If you split the privates, let's say you and another guy split $100 hour, that's $50. $150 a week, that's $600 a month. $200 gym membership, we're still only at $1,000. Then you could get a massage once a month, right? Now you're at $1,200, and then you could do 40 $10 meals at a meal prep company. And that's your $1,600.
But John, that sounds too much. That sounds too easy and too healthy and too long sustaining.
Because think about it. If you take the Ozempic, you still have to work out They tell you that, right? They tell you it too. They still tell you, like, listen.
Please, introduce moderate workout. It might cause heart disease.
Ozempic works best with a good diet and healthy exercise program. Well, dude, if I was going to fucking do that, give me the $1,600 and let me pay for my shit with that. I would redo healthcare. Adderall?
And
I've never done it.
Now it's like gotten to the point where it's like, oh, everybody's learning about it. Like the decade later.
Have you ever done it? I've never done Adderall.
Somebody slipped into my drink because they said I was being a drag at 2 a.m.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, serious?
Yeah, a friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Slipped me
Mickey'd
Adderall.
you.
Yeah.
Instead of giving you a date rape drug, he gave you you rape drug.
Like, let's go.
You're like, I'm ready to fucking go now. Let's go. You were so productive.
He was like, by the way, I might have slipped that in your drink. I was like, thanks,
Did you feel
Jackson.
productive?
I think we went to the second bar. Like I wanted to stay put.
Yeah.
And like the bar was a little grungy and I was like, guys, I'm good here. They're like, no, the night's just begun.
My headphones are a little loud.
Oh.
So you know, we're in studio, guys. I'm not afraid.
Is this you? Is this you? Is this you?
Well, now that's too low.
How's this?
Say it again.
I just had Beethoven in here.
Oh, you just had Beethoven?
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find a Goldilocks on here. I mean, listen, I listen to loud, heavy metal music. A little bit more. A little more. Okay, perfect.
All right.
So listen. Tell me that was on the same thing it just was.
no, not that. Like a little less.
A little less. All I needed was a
Spaceballs joke. Perfect. Or Harold and Kumar. Left, right, perfect. They crash into the tree. I think they're doing another Harold and Kumar, but I can't stand Adderall. And then,
I don't know. I've never done it, but they want to give Adderall to everyone, it looks like.
What's the rumors? Limp dick.
You
lose creativity. You like zero it. Yeah. You get that amazing job. You're a 6-figure, but it's like your creativity burns out.
But you can do one task endlessly, right?
Right.
Like,
yes.
like it's good for like if you're in finance, it's like, yo,
right.
I gotta work this shit. If you're in law, it's like, yo, I gotta
very
study.
Popular in the finance.
Oh my god,
I'm not surprised. Coke is very popular in finance.
Adderall. I used to have a couple of med school students I trained, and they used to love Adderall. They were like, yo, I gotta study for my finals.
I didn't want to name names, but my friend who's in med
need
school.
Adderall. Hey, listen, I mean, I think that one of the problems, and I'll actually talk to my check out the Manimals when I had Dr. Ajit, the stem cell guy, on. And he's the only guy that does stem cells in the city. And I don't know, I don't really need it, but if anyone, I know a lot of fighters get good benefit from it. But if anyone needs, they don't have to go to Panama, they could go to the city.
Yes.
So for injuries, it seems to be especially good so far, it looks like no side effects. So we'll, it looks like
remember LASIK? Tiger Woods got LASIK. This is like 2000, 2002, and I was like, let's pump the brakes a little.
Yeah.
And apparently he's got to get it redone again.
I used to wear glasses. Did I ever tell you this?
Yes, and you said
and
like...
I fix it with...
strength. Yeah, very impressively. Every time I'm like playing golf, I'm like, yeah, I need them still.
And then it fixes... but then I
think
train the
adrenaline
muscle.
helps vision. How crazy is that?
It probably does because you focus. Right? Why do you have adrenaline? But yeah, I was able... It took me a little bit of time, but you always have to do them. So it's not like... LASIK, if you have to redo it, I mean, that's a surgery. I'd rather not have to do a surgery if I could just train. Surgery, allopathy, I'm not averse to it. It just is my last resort. So, like, let's say I get into a car accident and break my leg. Please take me to the fucking hospispital.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I broke my femur.
I'm
like,
not going to have, somebody...
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, why don't we get a poultice of corn and, like, herbs. I'm going to be like, please set my fucking leg. And, what's funny is homeopathy probably had an aspect of all of that before the medical system took over all of that. Where does antibiotics come from?
No idea.
Native Americans.
CVS.
No, Native Americans. So so you can't patent a naturally occurring substance. You know this, right?
You can't. Okay, like if you find something in a field.
You can't patent a rose.
Okay.
That's a rose. That occurs naturally. You can't patent testosterone. Right?
Really?
So that's why that's why it's so fucking cheap because you can't patent it because it occurs naturally, right? Testosterone is a hormone you have. You can patent drugs around it, right?
Okay.
If I make a certain ester of this testosterone.
Rhino, steroid dick. Like it's all right.
I make an ester of this. Now you can patent that and then sell it. So that's what they do with drugs. You take something that's naturally occurring. Let's say I'll use aspirin for a good one because that's made from willow bark. So you can't patent willow bark, right? It's a fucking willow bark. But I can patent Bayer aspirin. So I could take this willow bark.
Yes.
I could put a couple other things in it, put it in a pill.
Could it be 99% willow bark?
Yeah, 99.9.
And then
still, and especially patents go on packaging. So I don't always have to patent the willow bark. I could patent the pill or the marketing, the form, the process of making the pill, the process of extracting the willow bark. I could patent other pieces other than just the willow bark. So that's how the pharmaceutical industry works with all that shit. And also all kinds of industries, right? You can't patent something in nature. You take something that's from nature, knock it off, and then patent it, and then you just push that. So that's why it's easy. Homeopathy is tough, because if you have a willow in your backyard, you could do that. But making aspirin, tougher. Penicillin, not that tough to make, though. Penicillium is a fungus, and you can extract the penicillium from the fungus that it grows on pretty easily just by boiling water, and then you'll have penicillin. What boils off is penicillin when you scrape it up.
You're like apocalypse ready, like for anything.
Yeah. But I'm gonna have to stock up on amoxicillin for people,
right?
Yeah, I do. I farm even in Brooklyn. I mean, I had a nice harvest this year.
Always training. You don't need a gym to go to. You're always training.
I mean, I do love jiu-jitsu, and I like to lift, but I have equipment at home, and I don't need anything. I mean, really, if I walked up your stairs every day, and at every flight hit 50 push-ups, I'd be in good shape.
Dude, yeah.
Like, honestly, your workout, the Ike workout would just be for me.
Yeah, Dana White says, how bad do you want to be fired? How bad do you want to get on the octagon? You got to go up 1,000 steps.
You got to do that 5 rounds.
Machu Picchu?
No, 5 rounds.
I might be fucking that up.
5 rounds, Machu Picchu.
It might have less steps to get up here.
I think five rounds. You got to do a fight. 5 rounds. You go up and down 5 times.
Forgetting the garbage, and it's like, we'll catch it on the
What
next.
happens if you forget, like, your cell phone at home?
I've left.
Like, you get in the car. And
I was like, I'll get it tomorrow. I don't need it.
I don't need it.
I don't need it.
Like, I don't need it.
I don't need it.
What, you're lucky it hasn't snowed a lot yet.
Oh my God.
If it snowed, you'd be fucked up here. You gotta, for this episode,
Automatic
we need
start
to
has
just
been
do
a
a tour
savior.
of like the stairs coming up.
Yeah, we need a drone. If anybody has a drone.
And Beethoven's a professional, not a pro. Beethoven's a high level athlete.
I'll give Freddie credit. He attacked it. Like he's in the midst of his Vidal. He's in the midst of his training camp. Shout out to Freddie Fight.
I love Freddie.
October 18th.
He used to work with my wife actually. They used to work at Westbury together, but they both.
He's not at Westbury anymore?
No, he got a nice gig at Uniondale. Even better.
Oh, okay.
Uniondale's the best paying school district in the island, actually.
Wow, my sister thought that she at Amityville. Have you Amityville is supposed to be like?
Yeah, no, Uniondale's the best. So
Gotcha.
good for you, Freddie.
Good for you, Freddie. And
Let me know if you want to throw a jiu-jitsu competition, because I'm always looking for someone with money, because the gods gave me all kinds of things, and a lot of money wasn't one of them. And when they did give it to me, I did not utilize it properly.
I think the god of patience, though, wants us to work a little smarter.
I'm very patient.
Not saying you're not, but how do you stay grounded and focused when you see people cut the corners? Like, I literally went in to get my ankle exam. This is like a foot practice. Stubborn to get to the doctors, like you were explaining with the TRT, similar situation. He touches the foot, and he goes, how long? Oh, this? He goes, all right, you need this, this, this. I was like, that was literally 30 seconds. And how much did he get paid for that? And I'm like, I don't want to take advantage of any system.
Did it work?
He doesn't know. He just sent me to this guy who's got to check it. So he passed the buck.
Oh, he didn't actually do anything for you?
No. He had somebody over his shoulder, probably a resident or somebody staring.
You know, I would redo it.
And I was like, hold on. He's like, you got any questions? I was like, yeah. I'm gonna talk to you for like 2 minutes at least.
Yeah, I would redo the entire health system.
You would be phenomenal, doctor. Yep. Oh, take 2 of these. Yeah, take 2 of these. Cha-ching, cha-ching. It's too easy.
No, I think.
But I think you have greater things set out for you.
So
you're going to change the game locally in martial arts.
I'm trying to, man, but it is a struggle doing an event in New York.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of guys do it, but not at the showmanship level I'm looking to produce.
Shout out to Valhalla.
Thank you, Valhalla Fights, guys. You know, and also
people have been complimentary.
Thank you. And it sucks because everywhere I go, they're like, "Well, we could do another." And I'm like, "Man, there's a lot of challenges."
People think it's that easy. Like, when is John throwing another? I was like, maybe year end, maybe 2027.
Yeah, no. I wanted to do one for Christmas because I would have loved to be Odin Claus. Praise Odin.
Silent Night.
Yeah. Oh, did you see? Is that Violent Night?
Not yet.
Violent Night. He's.
I like that guy though.
Nickamon. Yeah, Nickamon the Red. So he's a Viking. So Odin's
1000.
myth is. I'll talk about Santa Claus and Odin in a second if you want me to. So first, Valhalla. It's tough to do an event in New York. I do have a bigger budget than most events. Like, listen, a lot of guys do an event in the gym, and they don't bring the lighting. They don't do the stage. They don't have the walkout that I do. Like, Ike, you see how I throw it together. I mean, for what I put together.
We brought the UFC to jiu-jitsu, which I think jiu-jitsu fighters like, because everybody watches UFC.
Because honestly, I was thinking about it, Ike, and I was watching.
John Beneduce, Matt 3.
And the ones that do it, like, there's a lot of local competitions, but it's just like, even if it's two guys, boom. I'm bringing a show. I'm announcing. Yes. I got lights, camera, action, professional videography. We do the walkout setup like UFC. The showmanship. I mean, I'm doing a stand-up routine while I'm announcing, because grappling. So what I'm trying to do is this. Grappling traditionally is so fucking boring to watch, even for the grappler.
Correct.
So first, with the matchmaking, I make sure I never put an MMA guy.
Great job with the matchmaking.
Thank you.
Underrated aspect of it.
And this is, just the one thing I do is a job in itself. I do 10 jobs for this, and it's tough sometimes because I'm a little frustrated because I'm like, I should be getting more reward from it, and it's very fulfilling when I do it. But yeah, so every aspect of what I do is its own job in another organization, right?
Right.
So
announcing.
And then I think about like Craig Jones. Craig Jones spent $3 million on a show that was good, but what I do for $15,000, look what I do for $15,000.
$3 million.
You know what I would do for $3 million?
You rent out the National Coliseum, make this.
Bro, for $3 million, first of all, the venue, you could do any venue you want for $3 million. Second of all, I wouldn't do a big venue. I would do like the Hulu Theater or something like that. But then I would put the rest of the money into paying every guy and the showmanship. Dude, my girls would come out on freaking chariots. I'd have the fighters.
Wire teams.
I'd have the fighters come out in an octagon. So I'd have them on like a platform that rolls to the ring, and it would be in a little octagon. So they would show them off, because I'm all about like showing off the athlete. If I just want to fight, I could just fight you in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, if all I want to do is fight, I don't need to fight in front of everyone. I could just grab the best guy, tell him, listen, in 6 weeks, me and you, we're going to go in the cage, no cameras, no nothing. And that's it. And we'll just see who's better.
Right.
But if you want to put on a show and you want to perform for people and entertain the crowd, then there's a lot more that gets involved in that. Because if I fight you and just want to win, and we say no time limit, well, guess what? I don't got to do shit to entertain the crowd. All I have to do is freaking stall you out till you make a mistake. And if that takes 4 hours, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? So if you're just thinking about fighting. But if I want to entertain the crowd, now matchmaking becomes a big issue. How do I make it so that the matches I put together don't become snooze fest? And jiu-jitsu, forget it. In fighting, at least, it's a fight. So even a boring fight can be better than a great jiu-jitsu fight. Like what you would call not a great fight can sometimes...
I'll argue against.
No. I'm saying what you would call a good jiu-jitsu match. To me.
Right.
An average fan will watch that and be like, I'm just being honest. So what I'm looking to do is this.
Right. If you
match up an MMA guy, against the pure jiu-jitsu competitor, it either stalls or becomes a leg lock entanglement game where the fighter's trying to either run away and then reestablish a position, or the bottom guy's attacking the leg. So I prefer to try to match up MMA wrestlers against MMA style wrestlers, right? Tactical jiu-jitsu guys against tactical jiu-jitsu guys. Hopefully, like you see how I do the matches.
Just ran into Evan
Garcia
with the glasses, Korvlicki or something. Korvlik. And he had a chess match, and it was a scrap. Like, you're not just getting just technical guys, you're getting like jiu-jitsu athletes. And I saw him at the Garden. I was like, dude, that match. He was like, thank you, sir. Thank you, kind sir. Like, I was like, all right, dude, we're not in the Valhalla. You can let it go. He's like, no, all day.
Yeah, I'm blowing the horn. I mean, just my outfit and accoutrements was like 2G. No, serious. Just my suit. That suit was gold sequin.
And I think you're going to find the personalities. Your personality. But, like, somebody that you introduced to me, Dylan Conti.
That guy's funny.
Dude,
yeah.
I love that kid.
That kid's
like,
funny.
If he, like, I would love to have him be like the John Oliver, some correspondent, like just wild man in a suit. Like, I think you will attract more personalities to Valhalla 3.
I do love personalities. You see guys, I encourage them come out to the walkouts. You know, we could also do another token choke at 420 if we wanted.
Right.
So we could also have that option. Although I do like doing Valhalla because it did open it up that I could do a kids event again. Then at Valhalla Adults, then I had a 21 and over section that was separate. You know, kind of like how you go to the fights. There's a bar, but you can't bring your kids to the bar.
Right.
So we sectioned that off, and it wound up being a great
nice lounge outside.
Nice lounge outside. We put up, you know, no smoking in the front, party in the back.
Nice.
So every business in the front, party in the back, and the kids event, you know, separated that out. So that was a whole separate thing. No bar for the kids event. Sorry, guys, but we did have cotton candy.
Yes.
So I think next time I'm going to do them 2 separate days. So I'll do a Saturday Valhalla and then a Sunday kids.
Nice.
And do it that way. This way we could separate
it. Was a
it
long,
out. And then
it was a long
thank
day.
you for doing the pay-per-view, even though, you know.
It was a long day.
It was a long day. It was a lot of work. I
felt the joy. Like, everybody involved. Like, I've never really talked to Big Zach, and I believe he has a fight coming up, right?
Zach has a fight coming up,
Dell
and so does
as
my
well?
other kid, Dell. Yeah, so they're fighting at Jackhammer November 24th.
Dude, and we're, like, organizing after the event when all the kids are gone, all the competitors are gone, and just, like, a lot of people who are involved, just great people. And, like,
I tried to put a good crew
territory,
together.
like,
Teep hooked it up. You know, they came.
SD Bryan, like, great
and
people
SD competed
involved.
too, which was
yes,
great.
Very
So, and
surprised.
then,
Great top game, great scrap.
You know, my vice president Kerry, she's the best. She held it down. You
Cool,
know, helped
Kerry.
with the kids in the back, bringing the athletes out. You know, taking care of the sponsors. So that's definitely big. That's definitely a big help. And Jeremy, my producer, my production guy who does all the lighting, Rob, he's great. You know, that really.
Rob is cool.
Rob's
cool,
great.
Dude.
Siege, you know, we do it at Siege's place. You know, he's jacked and tan and fucking
And does laundry.
does laundry.
Or GTL, not JTL.
GTL. Gym tan laundry.
Have you ever thought about getting into the MMA game?
Yeah, whenever someone wants to give me $100,000, we're ready to do fights tomorrow.
True.
So
true.
whenever I get the budget, we're doing it tomorrow.
I feel
got
like
Gamma.
your best
Well,
suit
remember
is
that
networking
too.
and your
That too.
personability.
So even for this, we had it sanctioned by Gamma. So
Okay.
I didn't want to use Iska, and Kerry's friends, and I'm friends too with Tom, the guy that runs Gamma. They do one, which I wanted to do that anyway, because if I do a fight show, I would mix everything. So I would do a MMA fight. We could do some kickboxing, Muay Thai fights in there. We could do a combat jiu-jitsu fight. We could do some grappling matches. We'll do a couple pro grappling matches in there. I would open it up with a full contact stick fighting match.
Okay, I like that. That's a great.
So
that's
I've
different.
wanted to do that in front of a crowd.
Tell me they want
I've
to do
never
the
got
stick
to
fighting.
do. I don't know, but I've never got to do that in front of a huge crowd. Even when I won the world championships in stick fighting, the crowd was probably only like 300 people. You know, it was like Valhalla. I want to do it in front of like 5,000 people.
And it's like
so dope.
It's like swords
And I would
length,
do it
right?
with.
It's like swords length, right?
No, we would use single stick, so it would be
Okay.
like a short sword.
Okay.
It's like 30 inches.
Do you cover the hands?
We'll do hockey gloves, headgear. We'll put
Okay.
the armor on. We'll put the full armor on, and
You
then
see
we'll
that
throw
the
each other.
medieval knights
We'll do
thing?
it like M1 medieval, but with sticks.
M1
Yeah.
medieval.
Well, that's what it's called, M1 medieval.
I like that.
Yeah, so we'll do M1 medieval, but with sticks. And we could do stick knife, not real knife. You know, I would probably do either a padded knife or a shock knife.
Put like
The
paint
shock
on
knife
it.
is fun.
I've seen like they put paint.
They
on
have
these.
they have one where the end is like a little shock. So what if I stab you? Zzz,
Oh,
you
okay.
get shocked.
I didn't understand. I was like shock knife.
Shock
Okay.
knife. It has a little electric node on it.
Okay.
Like a cattle prod almost, but it's shaped like a knife. And then for training purposes, you know that you got stabbed.
That's pretty sick.
Zzz, you're like, oh fuck, I got hit. It's
A lot
not
of
like-
jiu-jitsu guys, they think they could defend the guy with the knife.
It's hard
I
to,
saw a
yeah.
video. You don't realize like they get 7 stabs in and like
Yeah,
4
it's
seconds.
very tough. You really got a 2-on-1 that knife hand and make sure he's not good at getting the other hand around.
Have you done self-defense stuff? Like,
Oh, with the knife, yeah, I'm a stick fighting and knife fighting champion, but still the blade is more dangerous than the gun.
is there a
So-
special way to hold it? Like, do you
What?
hold it upside down? I remember.
No, I mean I prefer just a standard, standard grip, but you can reverse grip if you want. There's benefits to the reverse grip for parrying.
Have you ever been hunting?
When I
feel
was
like you would
real
be
young,
in
but
your element.
not
somewhat.
really. I do like fishing though. I
Oh.
do like fishing though. Oh, the kid's looking for you. So cute. Whatever. Don't get me emotional. That's very cute.
Yeah, we should do a hunting trip.
Do you go hunting?
No, but I
Oh,
want.
me neither. There's places that'll do it, like for beginners. They
Okay.
have a guide, and we'll go out for like
Chad
4
Mendez was doing something like that, right? Like,
maybe. I'm gonna have to look it up.
okay.
But I think my crew down in Austin has a group that does like a natural style hunt.
Did you
But
meet up with them when you did the combat jiu-jitsu? I know you competed
Yeah.
in Texas. Okay.
That was in El Paso. But no, my
gotcha.
guys in Austin. That's actually Austin and El Paso are not close.
Oh,
But El
I'm
Paso
like the
is
New
a cool
Yorker
town.
who's like, just go to Dallas, go to.
Yeah, El Paso is a cool town though.
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
they didn't blow up the economy like they did in Austin. Like Austin, when I first started going in like 2014, 2015,
Yeah.
bro, you could buy a beautiful house there for like $200,000. And now that same beautiful house is
$350,000?
$500,000.
Oh,
Like they really blew up the economy. Like it blew it
is that
up.
a Rogan effect or tech effect? Because
A COVID.
oh,
It was a COVID effect because COVID, that place was starting to pop, and a lot of people like slowly started to move down there. And then during COVID, all the super liberal places locked everything down hard and made it tough to do business. I mean,
Right.
think about what we had to go through for the gyms.
right.
You're like, oh no, you can't go to the gym. It's like
I've met at least 3 gym owners
who had to close.
close,
And even
cop
Sarah-
firefighters, who
And
didn't
even
wanna-
Sarah, even though he still has Huntington, he had to close Levittown.
right,
Right,
And that
so
shows
that's
you he's
50%.
big dog in New
Big
York,
dog.
and
right,
he
the
still had
biggest-
to.
Former UFC champ.
Right,
And still not immune to the effects of that, and which I feel was unnecessary. But then we could get too political. But
what do you want to talk about? What's on your radar? I feel like you were a hyper kid because you have this
oh, yeah.
much energy
even though I
in
was
your
fat
40s.
too.
Your
Even though I
brain
was
is
fat.
going. It's the brain.
That's the problem. My brain is going too much, and I'm not exactly sure where to put my energy. I do
Okay.
love doing the events. Like I said, I would do fight events too, but the budget. I need like a Dana White situation. How do I find a Fertitta Brothers?
Right, you got to go to weddings. Just crash weddings and run into a rich. Apparently, that's what it was. He just went
I
to
thought he was
an
friends
old
with
friend's
them.
wedding, and they were like, "Oh, Dana from high school. How are you doing? Oh, I'm training kickboxing. How are you guys doing? Oh, we own casinos." It's like, oh, he said whatever they needed.
Whatever
to
he
hear.
needed to say. Oh, I heard the UFC's for sale. I was thinking of buying it with your money. Like, think about it. Where do you find a guy willing to lose 50 mil? I mean, I can't find guys that want to fucking do anything. So, guys, if you're out there and you have a budget, I have everything else. So we have everything
Yes.
else.
Here's your guys, Dana White, and a more honorable Dana White. Unless all of a sudden you get into
Well,
the business, you start bumping
no,
coke.
no,
All of a sudden, like,
no.
that's not the John we knew.
I will tell you this.
You have a mustache only.
Don't I take care of all my guys? I mean, that could be why I'm broke, because I do spread the money out. Like, as little as it is, I spread it out. I pay all, I try to do the best for my guys. I try to take care of the pros when I can, make sure the sponsors hook it up. So I'm trying to do the best I can out
I
here.
bet there's a lot that people don't know about you driving. How many people to Atlantic City or upstate New York or to Connecticut? Just
It's
like,
more like going to get all the fucking equipment out from Ronkonkoma 4 times and then bringing it back out when we're talking about events.
Oh.
But yeah, so
you're like
that I definitely like
the
doing
tired
my
warrior who's like, I got one swing left. To
No, I have.
hack
That's the
down.
problem. I don't have one swing left, because if I had one swing left, I'd know where to swing it. I got
Right.
100 swings. I'm fucking hype.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm slowing down. I'm like a neutron star. So a neutron star, the older it gets, the more powerful it becomes.
I feel like 2025 has got to just pop off for you.
No, things have been going good. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not complaining. It's
I'm
just
just
that
talking about like the,
I
the
want-
startup.
you know,
the
I
guys
just
who
really-
invent a remote is also going to blow
Yeah,
up.
I just feel like, man, the amount of work I put in
right.
to do the
I don't think
stuff-
people understand. Like,
and
they just
I
see
look
you.
at everyone else's like events, and I'm like, dude. I mean, just my opinion, and I hear it a lot too. I'm like, I do the best fucking jiu-jitsu show.
Very
with-
community based
with
too.
No
The
budget.
vendors are cool.
Yeah, and I'm talking about with no budget. You know what I mean? Like, look at what Craig Jones. Who did he have the vibe I had? Was there a smoking lounge in the back?
Right.
Right. Was there?
He comes across as very cool, but you know that guy is strictly business.
I know he paid the guys good, $1 a piece. I would have honestly, I don't think you need to give him $1 a piece to get the same vibe. I think you could have gave those guys $100,000 for the winner and then paid them their show money. I agree with that. Give them each their show money. I'm big on that. So give them their show money, maybe even a little more. Maybe give each guy $20,000 in show money, and then $100,000 or $200,000 to win the whole thing. And then, man, $1 million budget. I'm like, dude, you really could show out on that. Fireworks.
Yeah.
Maybe a drone light show. I would put you could do the ref cam. I did like that he made the pit though. I did like the pit. That was cool.
Pit is catching on. I don't think
the pit is cool, but it costs
Karate Combat definitely didn't patent it.
I guarantee you, it's going to cost $50,000 to build that pit.
So you're not going backwards, right? You're in the promoter game. You're staying in it.
I mean,
there's a whole group of people who are looking to you.
Oh well, keep looking. Look what your wallets.
Everybody's about to go to war. And you're like, you're giving us the shoulders.
Look with your wallets. Thanks. Let me know. DM me. Tell me that you're into it. And then I'm dying to go again, bro. I'm like, fuck. I asked.
You could do it every month if it was.
If I had the budget, bro. If I just fucking had I don't know, if all my.
Oh,
I don't want to wish death on people.
Oh, God.
Let me do it different. Oh, yes. Let me get a different
Reset.
way.
You call yourself 20 years ago? Blurted.
20 years ago, I would have fucking been in a lot of trouble just then. Let's say I came into a good amount of money, or I had to perhaps mortgage an asset that became mine. Then I would do it in 3 fucking seconds, and I would take out the maximum amount, and we'd be doing fights at the Paramount. And that's what I'm about.
That's
because I want to hear these motherfuckers scream and shout.
Let's go.
Because we're roundabout.
And we'll have the most clout.
And we'll have the most clout. Because they know what that's about when the Manimal comes to show out.
That's right.
But yeah, so I would love to do Valhalla Fights. That's why I originally named it Valhalla Fights, because I would like to do fights, and it just doesn't seem... And here's the other thing about anything someone does. Just because you see someone doing something, they might be taking a bath every time, and you have no idea why they're doing it, why it makes sense. It might make sense for them to do something for other reasons. So let's say someone's losing money on an event. He might have a show that he needs to have so that his guys can fight, right? Or he might have a gym that promotes his gym. Or they might do these jiu-jitsu competitions in their gym that promotes your gym. So there's an ulterior thing. Mine is strictly a show. It's like the UFC. The only thing the UFC promotes is the UFC. Right, that's it. So my show is a show. That's why it's like UFC, and I don't even want to say it's UFC because UFC don't do no showmanship.
Well, that's what Dana does best. He's for the fans.
Yeah,
a lot of people you're UFC, not a pro fighter.
If I ran, pro fighter, dude, you know what I would love to run? Bellator. If they hired me as the president of Bellator, I would fucking bring all the showmanship back. Even the simple shit. UFC makes you walk through the crowd. I hate that. You can't see the fighter. Show off the athlete.
Right.
I get very few moments out there as the reward for all my training. And this is something that the guy who's never fought doesn't understand.
Right.
So to the fighter, and maybe I'm overly fighter friendly, I'm like, dude, they're not fucking racehorses. You got NASCAR, and when you have the NASCAR track, it's set up a certain way so that you see every lap, right? You see, well, the cars are painted different colors. Why? So they stand out, right? So when you're thinking about a fan-friendly sport, I'm really thinking, because look what I do with a jiu-jitsu that's not fan-friendly. Fighting, you stepped in shit to have fighting. If I get, like Dana says, you get 2 guys fighting on the corner, fucking guys are going to watch some fight. So when you have fights, if you can market the fight well, it should sell itself. And I wish I was the if they made me president of Bellator, PFL, what the fuck? Dude, I would kill that shit.
They still have people, though, shouting them down. And
shouting who down?
Like, probably pure ideas.
What?
Like a pro fighter, promoting the fighter, prompting up the fighter. This is a little spirituality, hippy-dippy. Because your idea is so pure, it's going to be the hardest to do in an unpure world. You'll get there.
Yes.
It's going to be the hardest lifting.
Yes, it's the
but when
hardest
you get
lifting.
there, everybody's going to
Because
remember.
what I should be doing is finding all the dudes that want to do the most for
You
nothing.
can get 50 guys to fight for free, and then all of a sudden it's not going to hit them till 5 years old. Wait a second. He took advantage of me. And
Yeah, they're not going to realize. And, I mean.
because look at the Dana White Contender Series. That thing is like a drop in the bucket for Dana. It's $5K to show, $5K to win. He had Bo Nickel do 2 fights for him.
He probably makes like freaking $10 million an episode between sponsors, right?
Yeah,
And
the
separate sponsors for the episode.
Yanni the Greek.
It's content for ESPN Plus if they want
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if that's on ESPN too in the future.
Yeah. So
He's thinking Dana White Contender Series could live
now you know what I
separately from
wanted
the
to
UFC.
do. So talking about doing the heavy lifting, similar concept. Can I get someone to pay to do a show about us running an event? And then when you say you want to make the show, we start then going to run the event. And then
No
you follow
coincidence
us.
that we're in the time where like drones have gotten cheaper. So it's like
Yeah.
amazing drone shot. You could find a content creator, some young stud, which you found before. Hey,
Jake, but the gods told me with Jake that he had to go do. Really, they told me he's for Ray
thank
Longo.
you for bringing him here, though.
Yeah, that was. You know what? I had to pay for that, and it wasn't easy
Wow.
for me. So it's not like I did that for free. Remember, and at the time, remember, I'm a guy with not much budget.
Dude, one of the best video minds in the world, you
in
could
the
argue.
world, and what would and I don't know. I mean, I love Jake, and I think no matter what, he's successful. But he definitely wouldn't have had the route that he has. He might have done a different route.
Right. He's
How
there
would
with
he
Bilal
have-
Muhammad.
How would he have got Aljo if not? Like, he met me, so I went to a Steel Macer seminar.
Did you really? That's so manimal. That's
So I went to
that's
do
the
steel-
thing with the.
and my coach is Leo Savage, so which is
Great
funny
name.
too. So and then
you know, a siege and a savage.
yeah,
like,
and then Jake came down at 18 years old to do video for
18.
for this guy, for my friend Danny, who was into the mace. And when he came down, young kid, he came down on his own dime, just trying to see what's up. And he did some video, but kid's 18, and I came out with Leo and us, and we wore him out a little bit the first time, right? And we started talking when we were down there, and I was like, he was asking me about my shit, and I was like, and this is like I had maybe 3 months ago fought at the Garden. So I was like, I won at the Garden, and he thought I was like active. Like, he didn't realize that's probably like, I'm 40 something. I'm not.
Oh wait, so the Bellator Garden fight just happened coincident? Like
It was like right before I met him.
Oh my god!
So like right before I met him, let's say I won in like June, let's say November, I'm at this thing and I'm still hyped from it, right? I'm, flying high from that still. Praise Odin. I said I'd honor him every day for the victory at the Garden. It's really the culmination. It made everything before that point make sense to me. And now I'm trying to make sense of everything that happened since then. And Odin told me that it'll make sense when it's all done. And I understand what he's telling me. It's just hard as a human to then slow yourself down through that process and be like, it doesn't look like stuff's happening, but there's a lot happening that doesn't seem like it's meaningful. But when you're done, you'll look at it and be like, oh, that's why it had to happen that way. Like with the fight. So
I was gonna ask, how much of that fight was just like, oh my god, not only can you relate to every single high level mixed martial arts pro fighter, like not only fighting for a big promotion, but fighting for a big promotion, and what did they say? The world's most famous arena.
Thank the gods. I really want to cry.
What did that
almost.
like mean to you? Like,
so remember,
leading up, you knew how important it was, but like reflect was like.
So remember, it's real. So remember this.
Your Rocky moment,
When I turned pro in 2003, MMA was illegal in New York City.
right?
Okay. Most of the guys in my generation retired before MMA ever became legal in New York. So if I wouldn't have had a 10-year layoff, so I had fought from 2003 to 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I had 4 pro fights. I had a ton of amateur fights before that. And hurt my shoulder, and I was out for like 10 years. I hurt my shoulder, then I wound up opening a gym. I had a CrossFit gym for like 5 years.
Different quests.
Different side quests, yeah. And when I didn't have my gym anymore, I just started training again because I wasn't really training jiu-jitsu as much. And I don't know, I felt like there was something undone. And I started, I told James Gabbard, actually, because I knew him for like 30 years. You know Gabbard, right?
I'm
Well,
sure.
before he died, I mean, but he was...
No, I don't know James.
He's an old school Muay Thai guy. Whatever. He passed away right before my fight, but that's a different story. But so I went to him, and he was my age, and we used to fight in Ring of Combat together, so I knew him a long time. And he was training, coaching at Serra's, the kickboxing.
Cool dude.
The best, bro.
Amazing.
Believed in everyone else, not so much in himself, but everyone else, and the best. I mean, fucking as far as like, he had a dry sense of humor, but funny, tough, always went with, and Matt will tell you he always went with him to all the fights, helped him train. Sport was like a perfect, like,
teammate.
You know how in like, in the Middle Ages, you have like a squire? That squire is there.
The story record
you have
keeper.
a knight. No. Your squire is your second guy. He like helps you fucking do everything. Helps you with the horse. Get on the fucking horse.
Okay.
Do the armor. You need to spar. I spar with you.
Right. In A Knight's Tale, they had.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has to do everything for that night to support him. So like when Matt was fighting, he would be like, "I'll go out spar with Matt. You need to spar at midnight. I'm there to spar with you at midnight. You need to fucking. We go to Vegas. Right. So.
Wow.
So whatever. So I go and I was like, I want to, do some sparring, and I trust him. So I was like, keep an eye on me. So I spar his kid, Vinny Bones.
Oh God, I'm sorry, James. Sorry, Vinny.
Sorry, James. Sorry, Vinny.
I'm new to the scene.
Don't worry. So I spar with this kid. At the time, he's like a 23-year-old like Muay Thai fighter. He's like not what's the type A class. They have all different weird things. Muay Thai. It's like A class, B class, C, whatever it is. It's right before you become
That's
a pro.
the level of fighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And dude, I was so tired. I hadn't fucking sparred in like 5 years, and I got my ass kicked. And I was like, Vinny, in 6 months I'll be kicking your ass.
Yeah.
And he laughed. And in 6 months, not kicking his ass, but it was fine. It was sparring fine. And so and I was like, James, I think I want to fight. He's like, all right, see if you can find a local show. So I was like, all right. So I was going to do
What's
this.
the timeline? This is
2017.
This is 2017.
So I started looking around, and I had a manager at the time, and he's like, not going to believe this. Bellator needs a guy from Mohegan Sun. And I was like, oh, really?
And they go there in March-ish every year?
This was October 2017.
Okay.
So October 2017, Bellator was like, we need a 155-pounder. I was like, all right, I'm down.
Right.
I was like, fuck it. That's the biggest fight I've ever had, right? 10,000-seat arena, the biggest fight I've had up to that point.
Right.
Mohegan Sun. And it took everything to just get through the training camp. I hadn't fought in 10 years. I hadn't done a training camp in 10 years. Right? I was 38.
Wow.
Okay, so,
no excuses, people. No
So I fucking
excuses.
do this training camp, bro. And I felt like shit in camp. Ray will tell you, forget it. Okay, so whatever. But I come out, and he kicks me, and he fucking breaks my elbow. And I don't notice it, though. You hear it. Boom. But I don't notice it. But I picked up his timing on the kick. So he throws the kick again. I pick it up. I crack him. Now I'm on top. So now I'm on top.
Your world, baby.
I'm on top in his half guard, and I'm fucking elbowing him in the face, hammer fisting
With the
him.
broken elbow?
Yeah, with the broken elbow. I just cracked him with it. Boom. And I'm on top for like a minute, and I'm doing good. And I'm thinking to myself, man, Manimal, you are so good. I'm like, you haven't missed a step, bro. 10 years old.
Right.
And next thing I knew, shit went south for me real quick. He wound up getting up. I got caught with an uppercut. I threw overhand, right? And he caught me with an uppercut and hit me with the edge of the glove right over my eye. So now I'm bleeding. Now I'm trying to fucking, I'm trying to get him out of there. I was trying to do stuff, but everything was going south real quick. And I wound up getting cut and the fight got stopped. But right after, I was like, fuck.
That's not so bad, right? That's probably the least worst way to stop.
Yeah, right? So
I thought it was like, what's gonna happen after the
so
cut?
what you call it? So and that fight was the one.
What does blood feel like in the eye? I've been very curious.
Thick water.
Okay.
Because it's viscous, so it's not like water that kind of just flows out. It's viscous, so it's like oil.
Okay.
It like gets kind of in your eye.
Gotcha.
And then I seen it first drip on my short. I heard it drip onto my short. I was like, fuck,
Did you
I'm
smoke
cut.
before or take an edible?
No, I was worried about getting drug tested, which now I
right. Of
which
course,
now I
Mohegan is
realize
very strict.
sometimes.
Okay.
Then when I didn't get drug tested that day, I was like, fuck, I could have smoked. but New York is the strictest. So So I hit him with the overhand right. He cuts me. All right. So, but that fight I did at 155 because remember, 10 years ago, the lightest weight class was 155.
Right.
When I came into the fight, I was 162. This guy had to be in the 180s. Right. And he was like 25, younger guy who had been in the modern era. So remember, I fought in the pre-modern era, and then I fought twice in the modern era, and at the biggest shows. You know, the Bellator card I fought at the Garden was huge. That was almost packed. So then after that fight, I was like, no, I got to drop to 45.
Yeah.
My wife comes back saying, she's like, you got that out of your system? I was like, nope. I was like, got to drop to 45. I was too small for that fight. And she's like, fucking goddamn it. So Ray Longos he's like, man, Manimal, that fucking guy hit pretty hard. I was like, yeah, I know, Ray. I was the one getting hit. I realized that actually. So then I was like, I want to fight again. Right. So I was supposed to fight like 2 or 3 more times, and it just kept not working out. I was supposed to fight on that October card at Nassau. Couldn't get an opponent. Then I was supposed to fight February at Mohegan at 2019, and that guy pulled out like 2 days before. I made weight and everything. And I think Bellator felt bad for me, and I promised I would sell a lot of tickets in my homeland, and I came through.
Nice.
And I just I just prayed to the gods, and I was like, I promise this time I ironed it out. I won't be cocky. I'll be humble. I put the work in, you know, and I remember asking the gods.
And you had to drop down 10 more pounds.
Yeah, and that was tough, actually. So I remember the fights just kept getting, like, the Bellator fights just kept not going through. And I remember just, you know, asking the gods. I was like, "Oh, Father," I was like, "I'll take any fight at this point. Like I just want to fight. Like, I've been training. I just want another fight. I just don't. I just want a fair representation of how I feel." And I don't think that was the fight that I had. And I got a call to do this fight at Maverick. You know Maverick, right? In PA.
Yes.
And I had a good fight lined up for
Dennis
them.
Bazookia fought there.
Yeah. I liked the guy they lined me up with. It was a guy maybe close to my age.
Poconos.
Yeah, it was in Stroudsburg. I think it was the Sherman Oaks Theater. So they offered me this fight, and I was like, I like that fight. Great. Right? It was like a fair matchup. I was like, oh, great. That's a fair matchup. Great. I'm down. Signed a contract. 4 days later, Bellator was like, yo, we need you at the Garden. We have an opponent for you. Woo! I told Maverick, I was like, bro, you know how this goes? And they were like, yeah, no, we totally understand. And then after that, I just fucking I was already training for that other one.
Right.
So I was a little ahead of the game,
Nice.
right? Because that one was going to be like June 1st. And the Garden fight was June 14th.
Nice.
So I was already like training. So when I got the call to do the Garden, I was like, I was already training for this fight. Psh, boom, I'm here. And everything just came together perfectly. And, it's really the best. When you win at the Garden, I was like Highlander, like, you just fucking...
Hold on, we're skipping a couple of steps, and I know we only have a few minutes left.
Oh, yeah. We got 15.
Dude, you're in the Garden. Ray Longos shouting at you. You got, was it Chael and John on the broadcast?
Yes.
It's like, dude, that's like...
No, Chael might have even fought that night.
Oh, then it had maybe...
Chael fought...
Sean Grandy, maybe?
Chael fought Lyoto Machida. How crazy was that card?
Yes.
Chael fought Lyoto.
Was that
Neiman Gracie fought Rory McDonald. I think the Garden was packed that night.
That was a great fight.
That was really the best.
Because there had to be 5,000 Gracies with Neiman there.
Yo, dude, it was... And that's why I had the Manimal cheering section. So when I started fighting, my kids started off. They started cheering Manimal.
Could you hear them?
Well, here's the problem.
Like, talk to me about what you're feeling in there. The outer body, is that a thing? Like,
oh man, I didn't tell you. I'm psychedelic all the time. So, all right, let me see. Where should I start? Where do you want me to start the process when I get to the arena?
What was your song? Or yeah, showing up. Like, how early do they tell you? What do these emails look like?
So I show up at the arena. Right, we go through the service thing, and all the fighters line up, and we wind up we're online, so it's like your cornermen, your opponent, their cornermen, right? So they're like right behind you. So it's like if I'm fight number 19, it's me and you. Fight number 20 behind us. Fight number 18 in front of us, and you start checking in. So when I go up to the counter, the guy's like, "Who's your fighter?" To me. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm the fucking fighter. He's like, nah, Pops, for real.
Whoa,
Like,
dude.
so Ray Longo's there. Ray starts dying laughing, right? Ray's like, Ray starts laughing. And he goes to my opponent who's right behind him. He's like, oh, man, they fucking think that he's the coach. And now my guy thinks that Ray's like putting him on. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
He's like, oh, these guys fucking with me. So I was like, no, I'm the fighter. So he's like, all right, whatever. I show him my ID. He's like, all right, fine.
Fine.
So we get in the elevator, and that card we had. So I believe that I broke the curse of the garden. No one had won.
You did catch me when I said that. I was like, the law guys, they haven't won at the garden. You're like,
No. Let me take you through the history now. So
you might have started the curse.
No, I ended the curse. I made it safe now. Now you're on your own.
Yours was after Weidman.
Now you're on your own. So
Right.
now the odds are even. Before that, you were cursed.
Okay.
When I dropped the hammer
Yes.
on the mat, I broke the curse of the garden. Then it was neutral.
It's pretty sick. We need like a 3D. You ever see how they do that? Some guy, like when Izzy shot the arrow at her, like, can somebody do that?
Can someone do? And then it broke the curse of the gardens. Because then, listen, Heather Hardy was training with us. She went before
Was
me.
she?
She went before me. She lost.
Wow.
I fought. I won. Kaz fought after me. He won. Then Steamroller won at the Garden.
Okay.
Right? So
2018.
yeah.
if I
And
remember.
before that, he had Drew.
Wait, he fought twice?
3. He's done everything at the Garden. Win, lose, and draw.
Okay, I remember the Venata, the Lando.
Yeah, he did it all. Lando was the draw.
Who did he beat? I'm sorry.
He beat, I forget the guy. Was it the big-headed dude? The Arabic dude, potato head?
Oh,
I forget his name. The one that he was supposed to fight in Dubai, and then the fight got canceled, and then they brought him back.
Oof.
Akbar.
Akbar.
That's so racist.
You might be right.
And then
think
was
he's
the
Turkish
fight
or
against
something.
Saint Denis?
Yes, that
in the
was-
Garden.
so-
So
yeah.
he's won, lost, and drew.
Wow.
He's done everything at the Garden, which is actually like such a New York thing. So
And we got Weidman coming up in the Garden. Like,
Okay, well, it's safe for him.
yes.
It's up to him. There's no negatives. So what happens with a curse doesn't just make you fail. So if you think about what a curse does, is gives you a percentage worse chance of doing stuff. So if you look at Dungeons and Dragons, it quantifies the game mechanics for a curse. Curse doesn't just make you fail. It gives you like a -6. A -6 is 30% worse.
Okay.
And if you're 30% worse against the best guys in the world,
Right.
not going to be good.
Right.
Right. So I even the odds for everyone. But before me in MMA, I'm the first law fighter to win
Wow.
in New York
Wow.
at a big show.
Remind everybody that.
At the Garden. I'm definitely the first to win at the Garden. And
Hey,
Ray's
yo,
like,
Cruz.
I've had fighters win at the Garden. I was like, kickboxing.
And
I
what
was
did he
like,
say? Oh, so
kickboxing.
you guys have had this
I was like, kickboxing. All right. I was like,
because he doesn't want to believe
because
it.
remember, my attributes are not in the thing you think I'm doing. So, like I told you with Jake, why did I bring Jake here? We were supposed to do the Manimal documentary. You see it? Me neither. We did it. Don't get me wrong, but I actually want to reshoot the whole thing. Personally, I would redo the whole Manimal documentary. I'm a better storyteller. He's a better artist now. We're both better. I could tell the story is timeless to me. You know, I was ready to fucking kill myself before that, literally, and then in the 3-year span from almost killing myself, you know, and suicide's a big thing, and you know, when you lose a part of your identity, when you do something, you think that's you, and
Adesanya was just talking about that on
Was
Rogan.
he?
And
yeah, you think you know, when I had Jim, it was like, I'm John, I own this thing, and it's like that becomes who you are, and when you lose that, it really makes you struggle with your sense of self. So yeah, so from that, and then 3 years later, winning at the Garden, which I never could have done if I didn't have that 10-year gap, right? Because I would have been retired probably. So it gave me the chance to do something I never would have got to done without that layoff, and it really made me appreciate it and be grateful for it. Because in the alternate reality, there's an all-fighter Manimal, and he's really an asshole. And I'm a little bit of an asshole, but he's all asshole.
well, you can't be the nice guy in there because then nice guys literally finish last.
Yeah, I don't even smoke for 8 weeks before a fight.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Wow.
weed makes me calmer, makes me more empathetic.
Oh, I
So,
like that.
So I don't
That's
want to be
interesting.
that way.
Right.
You know, I There's none of
I
that.
hope people don't take it the wrong way, but I'm like, yeah, I stopped drinking. I was like, I can understand why Muslims are like their angst is. At a high
I don't
level.
like alcohol. Alcohol does the opposite. It makes me very rowdy.
No mead, none of the
Mead for rituals, yeah. For my
like-
rituals, I will drink mead, but that's at home
Is
for
that
my
the honey one?
honey wine.
I definitely want to try that.
My god,
At some
Odin,
point.
lives on honey wine alone. He lives on mead alone.
Okay.
And gives his meat to his wolves and ravens. So, 8 minutes of Odin.
Hit him.
So,
Get him.
So I follow the old ways, and being pagan means I can follow any deities I choose. Even I've incorporated more so now than ever the Christ God into my belief system, because from what I've been reading, Christ was talking about something that's inside you, a type of Christ-like energy, which is very important. So a pagan can incorporate any gods into his pantheon. I venerate multiple gods. It's kind of silly. I think the Old Testament's wrong about that statute, that you can only worship one God. Sounds very jealous. If I'm the best, I don't have to force you to tell me that.
Right.
Just saying. So the All-Father,
Like Ray would
Odin,
never tell some fighter to.
you can't train with I'm the best. If you say another coach is good, I'm gonna kill you.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
you would never do that, right? When you're the best, you don't do this. So this is why I think that the God of the Bible got conflated with some other deities also, and it's hard to separate that out. Also, same thing when you read the New Testament. So we also have sacred texts for people that follow the old ways. So there's Eddas, sagas of Viking heroes, and you could piece together the different religious practices from that. But for a pagan, my connection is directly to my deities, and they're everywhere, right? So Odin, the All-Father, is the head of this pantheon. So the head of, and the only psychopomp, the only god of the dead, to be the head of a pantheon. Usually the head of the pantheon is like the sky god, which he is also a sky god. But Odin in his essence is the god of transformational experiences. That's why he's the god of war, battle being the most transformational experiences. You were asking me about psychedelic experiences in combat. And because I'm so open to it, they're there all the time. First, you get the sensory experiences. I feel the thread of the canvas on the mat, right? I hear the heartbeat of my opponent. This is going to sound wild. At some points,
It's like a movie.
yeah, I see my dead homies literally calling to me in the cage. When I walked out, this may sound crazy, 3 Valkyries were at the garden.
What's a Valkyrie?
A Valkyrie is a Norse goddess of battle.
Okay.
Odin sends Valkyries to go watch battles, essentially. And if you die in battle, they can bring you to Valhalla, where dead warriors go, where they fight and train every day, awaiting the last battle at the apocalypse or Ragnarok.
Okay.
Every day these warriors fight. If they have wounds, they're healed, and then they feast at night. And they do this for the eternity until Ragnarok, where then they will come to Earth, fight the final battle, and they don't reincarnate. They give all their energy right there and die. So that energy gets transformed, Odin, a god of transformational experience, to have a new world. Odin himself at Ragnarok knows he has to die. So how, good, I have enough time. So how we start this off is first Odin,
Can I ask one thing?
yeah.
Is there a playbook or like a something in written down? Because a lot of fighters will lean on the Art of War or the 5 Rings, the Book of 5 Rings. Like,
well,
is there,
you can, yeah,
I
the
think
Eddas.
for fighters should read like.
So Odin
this
has a book of
message is like
Proverbs.
a war religion.
Yeah, it essentially is. So Odin has a book of Proverbs called the Havamal, the sayings
Do you know
of the
what it
High
dates
One.
back to? Is this thousands of years?
So here's the thing. Oral tradition dates back. So Tacitus in the Germania, which is 1 AD,
Okay.
talks about Odin. When he's a Roman historian, he's like, the German people worship this god. Okay. So you can't infer it, right? When you have a spoken tradition, it's all memorized. So there's nothing written down for you to find. So when does it get written down? Snorri
Which how
Sturluson.
most religions.
Snorri Sturluson writes everything down in Iceland in the 1200s. He's the person that writes it. Before then, it's all oral. Even like me, I memorize my rhymes like Biggie. I don't write it down. I'll record it and listen to it. But the poet's art, the scald's art, And Odin is the god of also poetry, because poetry and words change people. That's why we do podcasts.
So there is something a manual that I can hold on to?
Yeah. I'll give you a copy of the Havamal.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, and Odin tells several stories in the Havamal.
Gotcha.
And he tells about how he became a god. So Odin doesn't start off as a god. If you agree with Snorri, Odin's prototypical human form was probably a Trojan prince. After Troy falls, now he has to wander, right? And he wanders and seeks wisdom. He was a great warrior, right? Trojan prince. Troy don't work out, right? And they wander. They put Aeneas as Thor. Aeneas is the founder of the line of the Romans. So they put these gods in the diaspora. And they were probably Trojan in origin, Turkish, from that region. And Odin goes to find what's called the world tree, Yggdrasil. And you have a world tree in Judaism, right? The tree of life. So he goes to find this sacred tree, which is both metaphorical, inside you, and outside you. So he does both an internal sacrifice and external at the same time. When he hangs upon the tree Yggdrasil, he finds it probably somewhere in the north, because he says he practices Seid, which is an art of magic, with the Samsi people. These are the people that herd reindeers in the Arctic Circle, and that's where he is Santa Claus. So Santa Claus, because it snows so much, you have to go through the chimney. And Odin, or the people of that region, would wear reindeer hides. The reindeer would also eat mushrooms. And then you'd all be tripping together. So you'd have a magical experience where I eat mushrooms, the reindeer eats mushrooms, and then we take a ride through the multiverse. Because Odin has a horse that has 8 legs, just like Santa has 8 reindeer.
Yes.
Sleipnir has 8 legs. This is a metaphor for death. Death, the most transformational experience, right? What's more transformational than death?
Birth?
You don't know.
I don't know.
Birth. He is also a god of life and death. Yeah, he gives life to. So the god of transformational experiences is how I know him. And Odin finds the world tree Yggdrasil. He hangs himself upon this tree, pierces himself with a spear. You see where these myths have a common thread.
Yes.
Metaphorically dies. And when he does, in a flash of insight, he sees the runes, the system of alphabet that we use. So if you look at the runes, I don't have one on me, but I'll show you one right here. You see that I?
Yes.
The letter I? That's the rune Isa.
Okay.
Ice. That's the exact letter. Odin brings the runes, which is the Proto-Indo-European language. This is what he would attribute it to. He brings the Proto-Indo-European language, a system both for, like the Jewish alphabet, both letters, numbers, and a magical symbol, just like the Jewish alphabet. And this would be our Proto-Indo-European alphabet. The first thing he does is he brings the runes to the sons of men. Teaches them to the people of Norway, whatever Proto-European, Indo-European language. We don't even know what that language is, but it's something like that. Then his second quest is there's a well, Mimir's well. And whatever you put in this well, you can see, whatever you put in that well, you have access to in the universe, through all the worlds. If you put your ear in it, like Heimdall did, you could hear everything in every world, not just this one. All the multiverses, because the Vikings believe in a multiverse. Yggdrasil represents every single choice that ever could have been made, branching off into another full universe. No man knows where off the roots of Yggdrasil's branches run, and every expression is made there. So that thing you wanted to do when you were a kid, there's an Ike that did it, and that's a whole tree, a whole other branch on the tree of life. Every single possibility exists there. So, the second thing Odin does is he goes to Mimir's well. Mimir is an ancient god of wisdom. In some accounts, he even keeps Mimir's head with him and talks to it. He gives his eye in Mimir's well. And when he does, he can see everything. And when he can see everything, of course, then he knows about his death at Ragnarok.
He has the patch in the movie.
Exactly. In the movie, Anthony Hopkins has one eye because Odin sacrifices his eye. And everyone can see where he left his eye. Because if you look at the Helix Nebula, it's the huge eye.
Okay.
So and they'll say this in the saga, I know where Odin hid his eye, right? So very cosmic, right? There could be things that they might be aliens. People love alien stuff. I have seen a whole alien episode, but they're cosmic beings, interdimensional cosmic beings of any type you like to identify them as. Then the third thing Odin does is the most difficult. He wins the mead of poetry. Now, the mead of poetry is made from the blood of the best poet, this giant Vasir. The dwarves kill this giant, they ferment his blood, and they make mead. And anyone who drinks this becomes the most eloquent speaker you've ever heard. And
I need to drink this.
And anything they tell you, you will believe and be persuaded by.
Sounds dangerous.
And the giants...
John, you will be rich, famous, and successful 2025.
2025. I
don't know why I turned into Jerry Seinfeld.
I don't know. What's the deal with all the mead? Okay, I'm going to finish the story real quick. The third thing he does, the mead of poetry. And I'm not going to tell how he gets it. We'll save that for another time because it's a long story, the hardest thing. But the poet share is what we get. So whatever falls onto the realms of men, that's what we call the poet share.
Okay.
So Odin also a god of poetry. And putting this all together, you can see...
sounds like an amazing person.
You can see the transformational experience. Odin's actually not the most widely worshipped god because he's a very difficult god to follow if you look at me. Right?
What do you mean?
Odin told me to spend money to bring Jake here, not for me. You know what I mean? And I have to accept that. That's fine. Odin can tell me
wise, not difficult.
Yes, but when you're his follower, you have to remember you have to also do these things. So like if it's like now you take the L, now you go take the L. You know beforehand.
But you have brought the W.
Of course.
To so many people.
Yes. And that you have to understand. That's why what I ask the gods all the time is I'm like, take me where you need me to be and let me do the work you need me to do. Right. That's why I'll bring
literally
like
the God soldier.
I'm doing my best to honor my spiritual father. You ever hear someone call me the son of Odin? It's because that's my spiritual father, and I do my best to emulate the spiritual son that I think I am, which would be Vidar, the god of silence.
Okay.
Because it's like, I think it's like when you call a big guy tiny?
Okay. It's a douchebag move.
I think in the myth, you call Vidar Odin's son.
Okay.
Of his son with Gritter, the giantess of matter. Odin, the god of the mind. Mind over matter would be his son Vidar. So Vidar's called the silent one. But I think it's like a joke. It's like, oh, look, the silent one. Because every time you see him, first of all, it also means he's secretive. Vidar probably knows all the secrets that Odin never tells and never tells. So there's when Odin's son Balder dies, Balder is a very Christ-like deity. Okay. He dies and he'll come back after Ragnarok. And he'll become the head god because Odin gets swallowed by the wolf. So very Christ-like. And he whispers in Balder's ear something. And that becomes the trope around many myths. What did Odin whisper in his son's ear? Right? When you have a riddle contest, you'll try to finish it. Like you can't give him another riddle. What did Odin say to Balder on his deathbed? Well, no man knows what you said to your son on his deathbed.
Right? Do you talk with people like online in forums or in groups face to face about?
I have some groups.
Very interesting.
Oh, thank you. I'd love to do more of this. Yeah, my religion is very thought out. I'm very pious. It seems weird the way I operate.
Seems extremely positive. And something warriors can lean on, a.k.a. fighters.
Well, yeah, you know what? It's definitely something that helped warriors in the past. And I think it's fine if you want to also incorporate, as I've done. There's nothing wrong with having Christ as a deity in your pantheon. I don't know if I actually believe that, monotheism is the actual message in the Bible. Because I've also heard that the term translates as gods, not God. What does Elohim translate? God or gods?
I'm pretty sure one, but as you said,
I'd have to
an
see,
old school.
And thinking. Also Hebrew, one word could have multiple meanings.
Right.
So gods. I know, like when they say witch, could mean poisoner, right? Could mean all kinds of.
Okay.
So the word can have multiple meanings. So there's many languages where one word can have multiple meanings, and it's tough to then, when I read that 2,000 years later, I went for my master's in history at Brooklyn College. And when you study history, I'm trying to figure out where's the half-truth, and then where are the lies, because everyone lies, right? Especially when I'm trying to present my story. I'm sure if you ask my opponent, he would have a different story from the one I told you. So we always have to worry about perspective.
Like the movie The Last Duel.
Yeah. Which is kind of like Rashomon, right? Okay, fuck. I got to go. All right. If you ever want, I could do a whole...
shout out.
Guys, give me a shout out. Follow me at Manimal John on all platforms. Check out my YouTube, The Manimal Zone, on Spotify, wherever you like to get your podcasts. We're trying to build that. I got a new setup now. We're on the road. We're opening up all kinds of things. Valhalla Jiu-Jitsu. I'd like to do one in February, but I'm going to tell you this right now. No matter what, Token Choke 420.
That's right, guys.
So that's a 21 and over event, but I would like to do a Valhalla for my under 21 crew. I did love Valhalla, and I would like to do it again. So let's make it happen. All father, but whatever you want me to do, I'm there to do it.
He's a busy man. Has his hands.
I got to go teach a law now.
Many pans.
Come train with me, guys. Longo MMA, 6 p.m. Tuesday nights. I'm at Brooklyn MMA a couple nights a week. I'm at Serra's at noon on Fridays. I'm spreading the jiu-jitsu love all day long.
And not just jiu-jitsu love in general. Guys, follow him at Manimal John, correct?
At Manimal John, all the platforms.
Instagram, Manimal Zone. John, I appreciate you for coming up to 1,000 steps.
I'm ready to walk down 1,000 steps.
Your second workout coming up.
Second workout.
Love you guys.
Peace out.